Welcome back to Talk Healing to Me, the podcast where we keep it real, get inspired and find practical ways to live a healthier, more empowered life. I'm your host, Karen Dwyer, and today's guest is someone who embodies creativity, authenticity and alignment in everything she does. Her name is Hilary Rose. She's an actress, a writer, a podcast host, and someone with a deep passion for spirituality, rest and living alignment with yourself. You might know her from The Young Offenders, where she played the iconic Mairead, or from her podcast Live Wild, where she dives into life's big questions with curiosity, humour and heart. So Hilary's work isn't just about entertainment, it's about connection. And she's a very brilliant way of bringing honesty and depth to every role, every conversation and every aspect of her life. And she's someone who doesn't shy away from the real talk, whether it's about burnout or personal growth or the importance of slowing down in a world that's constantly pushing us to do more. In today's episode, we're exploring what it really means to live in alignment, how to tune into yourself, create space for rest, and embrace a way of living that actually feels good. So Hilary will share her insights on navigating career shifts, protecting your energy, and why sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop, breathe, and listen to yourself. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Hilary, you're so welcome.
Hello, Karen. How are you? I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for asking me to come on.
I am delighted you said yes. Not that long ago, I was having a conversation with our good friend Wendy, who was the connection between us both before we were both co-hosting her Nourish and Flow Festival together. And I was giddy with excitement about meeting you because I wanted you to be my friend and I had the fear that you might not want to be. So this is like vision board coming true for me.
I'm glad you're not weird and I'm glad we're friends.
Well, I am weird, but in a good way.
Yes, I was going to say we're both weird together. That's fine.
Oh, it's so great to have you here. It's so great. And look, I've some lovely questions here. I am going to get one of them out of the way though, right? Because there's a lot of people will know you from the telly. Okay, so we're going to start that. And then I really want to get into the real stuff. So most people will know you from spanning career in acting and podcasting. How did this transition come about for you to start your own podcast and move away from that?
This podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always consult your doctor. Views shared are personal and not a substitute for professional guidance.
Well, I suppose, I've been in the film and TV industry for the last 20 years, which is kind of frightening. I had a look at that number the other day and I went, oh my goodness, I'm there that long. And I love it. I will never leave it. It's always something that's going to be part of my life. I suppose really the transition happened with having small kids. Everybody has to rethink the shape of their lives and the hours that they work. And I wanted to prioritize my kids and myself, my own health and well-being. And so I thought, I can't really take massive jobs. Like I can't really do 19 weeks in Finland on a Netflix series. It's just not viable. As much as maybe I would love to do it, it's not viable while my children are small. So I thought, okay, I want to create something that I can do on my time with my flexibility and using all the transferable skills that I've learned. And I love podcasts. I love, health and wellness podcasts. And I'm a real nerd about that stuff. And you know that I am. I really get nerdy about all these things. And it started as a blog. So in 2020, obviously the world was turned upside down. And I thought, okay, this is my chance to reshape part of my life and see where this is going to fit. I didn't really have an idea for a podcast at that point. So it was a blog to start with. And I think it was Joanne McNally went, a blog? That's very 90s. And then she was like, do a podcast. And I was like, okay, interesting. And part of me felt that there was loads of podcasts already on the market. And I was like, well, what do I have to say? And it was like, well, it doesn't really matter because you're doing it for yourself. This was primarily for me and what I wanted and what I felt was in alignment and the things that I wanted to talk about and what I wanted to create and the people that I wanted to talk to and what I was interested in. So really, it was a kind of a selfish act that then just blossomed into this really beautiful podcast. And season 3 is out now. And yeah, that's kind of where I and it's great because it allows me flexibility to continue as an actor, so that's what's really lovely. Now I'm striking this really nice balance that maybe I didn't have before. Because if you think as an actor, unless you're writing the scripts yourself, and sometimes I do have involvement in that, but more often than not, you're handed a script and it's somebody else's words and it's somebody else's character and somebody else's story. And they're all amazing. And I enjoy doing that because that's the challenge of taking someone else's material and making it something completely original. But this Live Wild podcast just feels like it's all me. It's completely me, start to finish. And I'm so proud of it because of that, So yeah, that's how I got here.
I love that. I love that because I see it with clients that there's so many times that we're stuck in a cycle, and it might be a job. Like
Mm,
I've worked with clients. I'm not saying that you don't love your job or you don't love acting, by the way. I know
mm,
and you're
mm.
so brilliant at it, but it's so lovely to see when you can see somebody really embodying that true alignment, because it can be scary to do. Like it takes a lot of courage to be like, actually, I'm really interested in that, and I'm going to go ahead and pursue that, rather than going the kind of safe route or the kind of path that like
Yeah.
how would you personally define living wild in today's world? Because there is so many boxes, says me with the boxes behind me, that we've to fit into, right? Whether it's mother, whether
Yeah.
it's actress, whether it's friend, whatever it might be. How would you define living wild for you?
There is a book that I read, I think, really at the start of my journey, and I'm trying to recall the name of it. It was by the author Sharon Mackey. Oh,
I think
it'll
you've
come back
mentioned
to
this
me.
book to me before. Yeah.
It's a really, really beautiful book. I'm just going to look it up real quick just so that I have it. Sharon Mackey's book.
Is it
But
On Foot to Machu Picchu?
no,
No.
not that.
Secrets, a New Era in Constant Fenimore. Oh no, I'm looking up thingy.
It'll come back to me. I've actually bought the book for so many people and given it away. I was just thinking I was like, why aren't people giving that book back to me? I really would, I really would like the book back. Thanks, whoever I gave it to. Anyway, it'll come to me. She used the word sovereignty in that book. And it was like somebody, when I read the word sovereignty, it was like somebody smacked me over the head with the word. And I just thought, oh, sovereignty. Do I have sovereignty in myself? Am I sovereign? What does sovereignty actually mean? And sovereignty means to govern oneself. Now, usually it's a term that is used for an old political term, like it's a sovereign country or a sovereign crown or whatever. And that means to govern oneself. But actually, you can use it as a term for yourself. So the word sovereignty really, really rang out for me. Come back to the question again, Karen, because what was the original
Yeah,
question?
no, and it's perfect. It's more like, how would you define living wild? Because we were talking about.
Yes. That's where it started for me, was like the word sovereignty. And then I was like, well, if I'm governing myself, I need to make all the choices for myself. And that for me felt kind of wild, It felt like I was living wild. And I started to get really interested in people who were living outside of the system, living off grid, and living, quite successfully and rearing families and, doing all of that. I've got friends up in County Clare that do that, and they live in a yurt and they have their 3 kids and they have a farm. And I, not that I was going to go down that road, because I do like my creature comforts, let's be told. But at the same time, I was like, how then can I take my current life and run it through the Live Wild process? What are the ways that I want to live wild? And it's like, well, I'd like to be somewhat off grid. So do I switch to solar? There's all of these little things that I was looking at. And then it was like, well, I'd like to not have to buy cleaning products for my house that are full of toxic chemicals. So what were people doing before all these cleaning products were available? Well, I'm going to go research that. So I went down this rabbit hole of like, I mean, you know it, you've been there, toxic chemicals in the home. I stripped out all the chemicals out of the home. I started to make my own detergent. I started to make my own shampoos. I started to make my own body creams and body balms. And that was what really gave me a really deep a deeper connection to nature and a really deep understanding of it's all there for us. So I think some people kind of think, God, live wild. I couldn't possibly live wild within the structure that I'm in, but you actually can. You can, with the little simple micro things that you do, whether that's buying herbs and growing them in your garden, or even if you're in an apartment, putting them on your balcony, and microgreens, and you are growing these and then harvesting them and eating them. There's small little things that we can do that help us live wild and free every day. And it's about, for me, it's really about thinking outside of the box.
Mm.
We are presented with one way to live, and not all of us fit into that one way, and that's really the essence of Live Wild for me, is like, how can we be creative and do things differently for ourselves? And that comes back to sovereignty. When you self-govern, you start to understand yourself on a deeper level, and you start to understand what you need as opposed to what you're told you need.
Mm.
And that's really where Live Wild came from.
That is so powerful. It is so, so powerful. And there's a lot of people that will be listening to this and probably, it can be confronting for some people to be
Yeah.
like, okay, I have sovereignty over my life because, and I'll hold my hands up. A lot of times it's easier to say, someone just tell me what to do and I'll do it, because you might be exhausted or
Hmm.
stressed or burnt out or whatever it might be. But that curiosity and that going down, and I love what you said, that it's not kind of all or nothing. It doesn't have to be,
Mm.
okay, we go completely off grid and it's that. And I think it can be those little micro moments, those little micro decisions. Like, I decided to stop getting shellac and biab on my nails and I feel so naked. But that's my little piece of sovereignty. I used to get
Yeah.
those individual lashes all the time. I'm not doing that because I'm removing all the toxins as much as I possibly can. And so
Mm.
I made a decision recently to go back, all the way back, because this is what I did in my early 20s, starting a skincare brand without all of the nasties in them. And then when I got busy and single parenting and work and all the rest, it's like, I'm just going to grab what's there in the supermarket. And now it's like, actually, and I don't know if it's just that I don't know, I was going to say, is it because I have more time? Because I definitely don't have that. Um, but I think it's just a little bit more of a concern or awareness of, oh my goodness, actually, what am I putting into my body? What am I actually doing, and going down that road? And it's those little micro things. And it's one thing at a time. This can be done over a few years. It doesn't have to be, right, I'm binning everything that's in the house and I have, it's like, no, the next time you're switching something over, maybe test something out. I tested out some
Mm.
deodorants recently and I have to say, I absolutely stank. And some of them really
Yes.
didn't work for me. That was really interesting, and I'm still, but I have found one amazing one called Indiora by an Irish girl, and it's magnesium based. It's absolutely amazing. Indiora, Indeora. Um,
I. Oh, okay,
and
cool.
and it's a
Any
spray as well, which is great. Yeah. Uh,
deodorants that have lime and citrus are always good because they naturally will get rid of body odor, and yeah. I
yeah.
went down that road as well of deodorants, and it took took a while. I remember
Yeah.
being on set and having the natural deodorant, and the costume designer was like, "Please don't," and I was like, "It's just where I'm at. It's just where I'm at. All
I
right."
know.
And she
I
was like,
know.
"Oh, natural deodorant's the bane of my life," and I was like, "Sorry,
I
but."
know. I got out of the shower one of the days and I still smelled. I was like, okay, right. It's time to change this up now. Like, there was,
But
so there's
isn't
the
it
bit in
interesting
between.
though when you actually start to notice your own body odor and it's like that's pretty bad, and then you kind of have to start working from the inside out,
Then it was heavy metals detox for me, and
Yeah.
then balancing hormones. So it is all those things, that process of discovery and giving yourself a
Mm,
little bit of time. And also,
mm.
I kind of love trying things out. Like, I love trying out new makeup and things like that. But I haven't found a really good mascara yet that's natural. But
No,
we'll
I
get
haven't
there.
either
We'll get
actually.
there. Tell me, like, you've spoke speaking of costumes and being on set and things like that, you've played so many amazing characters. I have to say, my favorite one was Mairead. I mean, I
Oh,
would want to be friends with her. What lessons have you taken from characters that you've played before?
oh. Mairead was so interesting because I feel like, I mean, this will shock you, but it's 10 years since we did the film. Yeah, this year is the 10-year anniversary. So both my kids were born during the making of the young offenders. My I always call them my lucky young offenders babies. So I became a mum while I played this iconic mum character. And she was really kind of a first of her time. There weren't very many single mothers being represented on screen in Ireland at that time. And it's something that I never, ever, ever took into account until this lovely young fella came up to me and he said, my mum raised me and my sister, and we're so pleased that we're seeing single mums being represented on screen. So that was really, because you think you're playing a character and it's comedy, and yes, she does a lot of the kind of big heartfelt emotional scenes, and she anchors in the kind of the heart of the series, much in the same way that Mum's anchored in the home, so she anchors it in. And I thought, okay, well, I'm just playing a character, but actually it has profound effects on people that you are not aware of. So that's one takeaway that I learned, that it's like you kind of have almost a responsibility to the character and to what you're playing, and to play it with as much heart as possible. That's what I always go for. And I suppose the other thing about the character, it brought out that, like, Mairead's a real lion of a character. You wouldn't cross her. You really wouldn't. And you know that no matter what those lads do, she has their back. And that's exactly what I say to my kids. Doesn't matter what you do, I have your back and I'm here for you. no matter what, you come to
Mm.
me, you know. So I think there's definitely a parallel between me and her in that respect. Yeah, she's a great character.
I know. I want to be friends with her as well. Just want to be greedy. I love that, and thanks for doing that and portraying it so well, because I definitely felt seen as a single parent, you know, for so long,
Mm,
and because you know, I think it's easy to portray whether you're a single mom or whether you're dealing with an illness or whether you're going through some stress in your life. It's it's kind of the default way of being and acting that we show up and we're fine. But actually getting to see
mm,
behind the scenes with humor, with the misery of some of it as well,
yeah.
and then with the fear and all of the emotions and told in a way that actually really honors that,
Mm.
because it shouldn't be all misery. It shouldn't be all fun. It's like it was a really good and honest and authentic portrayal of it. So thank you. Thanks for
Oh,
doing that.
well,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah. It was
you.
really lovely. One of the things that, and we've had lots of brilliant conversations about this before, and I love it, you know, that you share it on your social media, but also on your podcast as well. Spirituality is really important to you and it plays a really
Mm.
significant role in your life.
Mm.
How would you say it's influenced your personal and professional endeavors?
I mean, I suppose when I wake up to how strong it was with me, it kind of has permeated every corner of my life, and I love it. Like it just feels like every decision I make now, if I slow down enough, I can make it consciously. And then you're making decisions, not to sound kind of, don't want to say the word wanky, but I've just said it. Um, you know, you're making conscious decisions on a daily basis when you can slow down deep enough into it. So yeah, there's decisions that I've made in my career that have been based around my principles now that maybe I didn't have before, you know? And that's really interesting. There are roles that I will not play because it draws in an energy that I don't want as part of my life. So that's been really interesting. Whereas before, I probably would have went, it's fine. Yeah, I'll play that role, or yeah, that would be interesting, or whatever. Um, so yeah, that informs it that way. And then, you know, I suppose just in my everyday life, I touch base with spirit every day, if they want a better term, you know. But it's yeah,
Busting out your pendulum.
I bust out my pendulum and everyone gets in trouble. Bust out my pendulum. Oh, the pendulum is amazing. Yeah. So there's different things that I work with. I suppose in the early days I meditated an awful lot. I was really searching for a very deep connection. I remember saying years ago, it was probably 7, 8 years ago. I remember going, is this all there is? It's not all there is. I know it's not all there is, because I had loads of experiences. Now I know, like, you know, quite supernatural experiences as a child that I was told were my imagination or whatever. So I kind of forgot about them, but now I know, no, they're completely real.
We want to
And I
hear
remember,
about those, by the way, in a second.
oh, and I remember going, is this all it is? It's not all it is. If it's not all it is, then just you need to like give me a shove or something, you know, or like you need to make yourself known to me, because I don't think it's all it is. And then from that moment on, things just started. People started showing up, or I started noticing different practices that I was, I'm going to try that. And again, it's about curiosity and stepping outside, you know, the rigid mindset that we kind of have. So that's where it all started, really.
I love that. I love the fact that you, what it sounds like is you really ground yourself before you decide on any role, like, and really that alignment has to be there. That's,
Mm.
do you know, I never even considered that. Wow, that's amazing. Like
Mm.
I'll share. This is the only way that I can kind of relate to it a little bit. Is I won't watch a horror movie or something that's
Mm.
really really suspenseful or
Mm.
that's gory or has violence in it. I just
Mhm.
don't do it. I don't see the point in it. I don't want my body to experience it. No,
Mm.
thank you. That you,
Mm.
I just, you know, it's not for me. Murder She
Mm.
Wrote is my level. It's my
Great.
level of scare. That's everything else. No, I'm good. But I never considered that as an actress. Wow.
Well,
Of
here's
course
what's
I haven't thought.
interesting. Here's what's really interesting as an actor, okay? So when you're an actor and you play a role, it's like you're running two programs at the one time. That's the way I always see it, right? You've got Hilary underneath, and then you've got the program of the character. So you've got Hilary who is like saying, okay, I'm going to say these lines, and I'm going to, if you're blocking a scene, I'm going to do this in a scene, I'm going to be here, and I'm going to receive this, and I'm going to feel this. So I always try to feel as much as I can as an actor when it's appropriate for me to do so. It feels like then you are literally embodying a character, and that's what it makes it very authentic. But so when you're running these programs, your body doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined because your mind is telling it. So if I'm in a scene and it's a horror scene or whatever, and I'm being chased by a murderer, my mind, as Hilary, is telling the character, as whatever the character is, you've got to run and you're terrified because this person's going to kill you, or whatever it might be, right? Whatever the scene is. So my mind instructs my body, and my body feels it. So I made the decision, I'm not going to put myself in that position anymore where my body is feeling it, because your body keeps the score. And I found myself really exhausted, really burnt out. I wasn't releasing it from my body. I was storing quite a lot. And my nervous system was hanging by a thread. So I'm the same as you. I don't watch horror. I don't, any gore or violence. I don't watch it. I don't want that information coming through and into my body. I don't want it. I would prefer to watch. I don't watch much, to be perfectly honest. I don't, I really don't. Like, Conclave was brilliant. It's amazing.
I wanted to see it. I still haven't.
Oh, it's brilliant. That's brilliant. Really smart, interesting. There's a beautiful documentary called Blue Road, Ed O'Brien's story. I'm really interested in documentaries. But I won't watch true crime. I won't listen to true crime podcasts. None of it. Don't want it. Thank you. And respectfully, they're all amazing, and there's a place for them all, and people love it, and they're so popular. It's just not for me where I am at this moment.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I talk about this with clients all the time as well. You're priming your body with whatever you're reading. Like, you are digesting everything, whether it's food, whether it's what you listen to, the people that are around you. I mean, we are so open, and we don't realize, whether it's scrolling on our phones, like everything we are taking in at a cellular level.
And the term is, for people who are making films, who are producing TV or content, the term is consuming content. That's the term. So literally, when you break that, you are consuming it. So like, the terminology is, oh yeah, they consumed that content, you are consuming it. So you should be so mindful of what you put in. And again, it comes back to being conscious and being mindful. Be mindful of what you put into your body on every level.
You are preaching to the converted. I love hearing that. But then, when you're consuming, then you're consumed. You're literally full up, whether it's with toxins, whether it's with fear, whether, goodness, I have friends that work in the journalism industry, and I can't watch the news because it's full of misery. And it's not that and this sounds, goodness, I don't want to sound ignorant or anything else, but it's like, well, what does that bring to my body when I watch that? And it's not that you don't want to help, or you don't. And I really acknowledge that there is so much that's going on in the world. Absolutely. I will donate. I will march. I will stand up for the things that I believe in, and I will take an active role in that. But watching the news or watching something that's scary constantly, I literally feel my body start to go like that.
Yeah,
like it starts to tense up. Yeah.
And that comes back to the sovereignty piece again. When you're self-governing, you are making the decisions about what you would allow. It's like, you wouldn't let your child watch it. Why would you watch it yourself? It is a subconscious programming in some shape or form.
Yeah. No, I hear you. In terms of going, because I love that you have the range of topics that you have on your podcast and in your social media as well. And the conversation that we have, every conversation's from parenting to spirituality to holidays to personal development. And I love that and I love that you're so open in talking about it and having great conversations. Tell me, in terms of your podcast and the topics that you do love talking about or getting interested in, obviously spirituality is one of them. Is there anything else that really interests you, that makes you tick?
I'm really interested in housing and eco housing. I've had 2 episodes where it's all about kind of housing, either, how to renovate an old house. I love You know what I think I love about housing and renovation is I love building something from nothing. It's a real creative process. And I think when you have an old house, I've renovated a bunch of houses. It's a hobby that's exhausting and I need to stop doing it. But it's really interesting to see and work with what you're given. So when you have an old house and you need to strip it back, it's so interesting to see. It's like time travel. You
Yeah.
know, you get to see a wall that was built 169 years ago, you know? That's cool. What was it built from? What materials were available at the time? So I'm really interested in that. And I'm really interested in kind of, I suppose, housing solutions and thinking outside the box. Again, it's all about thinking outside the box with housing solutions. I'm really interested in a thing called Earthship, where they literally build these incredible houses, passive houses where you can grow your own food within the house, harness the energy of the sun, the wind, the water. There's hasn't been one built in Ireland yet. So I'm really and it's all built from the natural materials found wherever the house is going to be built. So
Oh,
that's,
wow.
yeah, I mean, it just
Well,
makes
tag
such
you're it. You need to build it now that you've
I
said it.
know, I know, I know. I'm like, oh, God, I just need to find an engineer who'll sign off on it. I've actually found him. But anyway, yeah, so there's things like that that just make a lot of sense to me. I think there can be, like, housing and the way we've been doing it maybe made sense 100 years ago, or maybe it didn't, but
Mhm.
we're still doing the same old thing. And it's people are missing out on a birthright of housing, basic rights. So I think that's a topic that I'm really interested in. And I'm really interested in, yeah, I don't want to use the word hacking because I think that's a really overused word as well. But it kind of like, how can you optimize your health and well-being and your abundance? So that's when I dive into different episodes. How can you optimize? Not to be pushing forward. I think that's a different thing.
Mm,
But it's like, how do you receive the information to optimize your life in different ways? And it's going to be different for everybody as well.
I love that. I love that. One of the things you mentioned there about, housing, one of the things we do in our phase 2 program is feng shui. Shout out to Life Path Designs and Elka, because we do kind of forget those ancient practices that
Mm.
worked for centuries. And now because if there are two people in the home, they're usually working to save, and it's this like vicious cycle of being
Yeah.
busy and convenience and instant gratification and must do quick and all of that stuff. But a lot of the time it's stripping it back. But one of the things that I've discovered through this work is all of the elements that we used to have in a home we don't have, like earth, wind,
Yes.
fire, metal. I forget the other one. Isn't there six? Is there six different elements?
Well,
Clearly,
no,
I need to
so
look at
you've got
fire.
ether. So you've got earth,
Thank you. Yeah,
water, wind, fire, and then ether. So spirit,
yeah,
we'll call it.
yeah.
Yeah, they're literally taking fires out of homes, literally taking fireplaces out of homes now. And that's the heart. That's the central. That's where people come together. So I think that's really important. And then, but fire is also, the fire energy is where you cook. So
Mm.
it's really, I mean, you know this. It's a part of your course. Yeah, I love feng shui. I think it's amazing. I did a really good episode with this lady called Dervla Griffin. I don't know if you've listened to it, but you're gonna love it. You need to
I
listen
saw
to
it.
it.
I have it. It's in my queues.
Oh, it's so good. Dervla is amazing. And I met her at this really weird workshop, and the two of us just connected. And she's a feng shui master. Like, she studied out in China. She's an incredible woman. She talks about the frequency of houses, how it can affect health and well-being, your abundance, everything. And that sometimes you are a frequency match for the house that you go into, but you actually need to learn lessons about yourself and the house. Yeah,
Ooh.
really interesting. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, Elka actually had, so one of our clients, Helen, I'm sure she won't mind us saying, actually shared this publicly. She's in Canada, and when she joined our work first, like wanted to walk better, wanted to have more energy, wanted to possibly move home, and
Mm.
then Elka went through her bagua and the feng shui of her home and getting ready, and she's now just moved into a brand new home. And it's doing amazing. Like, but that process, but I find it fascinating that having a different element in a particular place. Like, for example, I have my cactus here because apparently if you have it near where you work, it keeps you sharp. I also have a little
Oh,
owl because it brings your wisdom, like a
yes.
wise owl. So I have my little things in different areas, and my desk is facing this way. Oh, is it north? Anyway, whatever way it is, I mapped it out with Elka because
Mm.
that's where it brings in team and collaboration. But then when I'm doing my other work, when I'm doing my movement, I face it the other way. And that's about, I don't know, whatever the thing is. But I have things in different directions based on that. But she helped me go through that, which is just that, because you wouldn't know. But have you ever, I'm sure you have, you've walked into a room and you're like, there's good energy flowing through here, but you feel it. You feel it when you walk in somewhere, don't you? And it's like an unsaid thing, but you feel it.
And equally, you walk into a room and you go, I can't settle here. I can't sit down here. There's no comfortable corner. I'm out of here, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, but it just goes to show what our body is capable of. Like you said, our body keeps the score. Considering this podcast is talking about, our talk healing to me, when you think about healing, if you are feeling stressed or if you're not feeling well or if you're just not feeling yourself, what's your go-to, Hilary? How do you bring healing to you?
This episode of Talk Healing to Me is sponsored by Clean Boss, created by Joy Mangano, the legendary inventor behind the Miracle Mop and a pioneer in clean innovation. Clean Boss is a botanical disinfectant that kills 99.9% of viruses, germs, and bacteria. It's safe for food surfaces, soft surfaces, and baby high chairs with no toxic ingredients and no rinse required. It's also a degreaser, odor eliminator, and all-purpose cleaner that works as hard as the chemical-heavy stuff without the health risks. Check it out at getcleanboss.com/Karen for a clean, better, and living safer life.
It depends where I am and what I'm doing. So if I'm restricted, say if I'm on set or I can't leave set or I'm at work or I'm somewhere where I can't leave, shaking is really good. Like I would stand and shake top to bottom, just shake, shake, shake. Literally shake it off. You see animals do it all the time.
Don't zebras do it? Don't they run straight? Is it zebras or another animal? They run straight towards a storm if there's a storm or a tornado coming. Buffalo. And then they shake it off afterwards.
Yeah. Shaking is really good. It just releases stuff. If I can get on the floor, if there's nobody there, I'll have a little roll around. Like you see kids rolling around in the carpet. Like I do that stuff. It really regulates the nervous system. So if I'm having trouble sleeping at night, and I'm in bed and my mind is going in a bit. Okay, so I get out of bed and I actually just have a roll on the ground. And I know it sounds so silly, but it really helps to regulate my nervous system and just loosen out whatever I'm holding in the body, and then I get back into bed. But if I can't, my number one thing though is the woods. That's my number one. That's my absolute number one, is get into the woods. If I'm feeling stuck or stale or even low energy and I don't feel like going out for a walk, I'm really blessed. I've got a really lovely woods about 15 minutes from my house. I hop in the car and I go to the woods. That's my number one. And it's just so gorgeous because the wind is blowing through the leaves and the sunlight's poking through, and there's buzzards, there's hawks around, so I can hear the hawk, and there's herons because it's by the water, so I hear the heron, and I just tune in. I don't put a podcast on. I don't put headphones on. I leave my phone in the car, whatever, and I just walk in the woods, and that's my number one. Love it.
Oh, that sounds heavenly. That sounds heavenly. There is, if you did ever want to bring your phone, here's my nerdy side. Hang on, I tell you the name of this app. There's a bird app, and it's by a Cornell University.
Oh, cool.
In the US, and you hit record, and it will tell you what bird it is, what species, and Merlin bird app. Here it is. Do you want to see my?
Oh, nice.
Here's my bird. Remind me later. Here's my list of birds that I've heard, and I've done it all over the world, like in Mexico and Canada.
Oh, you've got a curlew. Love the curlews.
Look at them.
Wow.
Really cool. But I have a buzzard in there as well. That was my number one.
I love
I really
buzzards.
wanted to get, but yeah. And then you can play them back, and other people around the world have added to it. I feel
so cool.
That's my little nerdy thing to do, and I love it.
I've got a tree and a plant one. So it's like you take a picture and you upload it and it tells you what it is. And I'm like, oh yeah. So every day you can see what plants are around you and then I do a nerdy deep dive and I go, okay, what medicinal, properties do they have? So it's like storing this information. Yeah.
I never listened to that class in school, and I always regret it because Noel will always be saying, oh, that's this tree or that's that tree. And I'm like, oh, I didn't listen to that part in school and I don't know them. And I've never taken the time to do that, so I might download that app as well.
Yeah, it's good.
I always feel really stupid when I don't know the name of a tree. But I genuinely don't.
There's so many though, that's the thing.
But the basic ones, if you said that's an oak, I'd be like, oh, okay. Or if you told me it's a fern, okay, that's great. I might not know the difference. So
We'll go walk about in the woods someday,
yeah,
okay?
thanks. I would like that. I'll go with you, and I'll be quiet. I probably won't be. Okay. I am going to go into our rocket round. Okay, this is a quick fire
Oh,
round. I'm going to give you 10 questions, Hilary. Okay, we're going to go
oh,
through. There's only one that's a little bit tricky, but the rest of them,
okay.
they'll go. All right. So, if you followed your childhood dream, what would you be doing now?
Oh, my son only asked me that last night. I'd be a vet.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I was crazy for animals. I still am. I would have been a vet.
Wow, wow. I've just realized as you said this, I find that fascinating. But also, we never went back to the question about your spiritual experiences as a kid.
Oh,
Can we go there? Can we go there?
yeah. Okay. Trying to think what's.
You're like, what am I allowed to say?
um, I just knew stuff. I just knew stuff. You know when you know stuff and you know and you know it's the truth. I just knew stuff. Um, oh, things
Like
like
the
I would.
lottery numbers. I'm
No,
only joking.
I
I'm only
never knew
joking.
that. I'm going to manifest that. That's it. Poor guy. I think I'll do a bit of work
No,
on
but
that
you'd
actually.
know, and I'm not sorry, I don't mean to be trivial about it. I'm only having a giggle with you.
No, I
But
know.
you would be able to see or know things, or if somebody was
I
saying
didn't.
something or withholding something, or
Yeah, I always knew what was the truth and what wasn't the truth. That was number one. But I think everybody does. I think everybody does. I didn't see things. I just knew things. Like I would know that somebody had passed away before they passed away.
oh wow.
Things like that. I just knew. I knew that there was like. I would know if there was an energy around. Put it that way. But I didn't see it. I just knew it, and I knew I would know kind of who the energy was. So there was an energy of would have been my great grandfather around. And I just kind of knew. But when I said it, I sounded bonkers even as a child. So it was kind of dismissed. And I get that, it's a weird thing for kids to know. And some parents just don't really have the language or the capacity to want to dive into that with their kid.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, so I came very strongly back to that later. And I'm so glad that I did
yeah.
come back to that at a later time and know that, yeah, it was the truth. And I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Wendy's actually been listening to an amazing podcast. I haven't gone there yet myself, but about kids that can communicate with each other without
She just
speaking.
sent it to me. She just sent it to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah.
I know I'm going to
Telepathy.
binge it. That's why I'm like, okay, I'm going to put it off until I have a bit of time, or I'm in the car by myself for a couple of hours and I can just
Yeah.
binge.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about telepathy. And I think, look, I actually think everybody kind of has a bit of it. And I think we have, it's intuition. Once you kind of clear the debris, that's what our intuition is. And people absorb that information in various different ways. They can be claircognizant, clairvoyant.
Mm.
There's loads of different ways. I can't even remember what mine would be called, but it's just a knowing. I don't see other people see things. I don't actually see things. I just know, and I know that I know. you know,
Oh, that's beautiful.
so it's
What a
really
beautiful way to
interesting.
live. Yeah.
Huh?
Has it ever caused you like fear or anything that you're like, oh my God, I don't want to feel like this, or I'm not comfortable with it? Or were you always comfortable with it?
No, I suppose I ignored it for quite a while, and then actually ignoring it is the worst thing that you can do in a sense, because it's taking you away from your truth, and it's nothing to be fearful about. So that was, I think, a lesson that I had to learn, was that knowing things in, I think, claircognizance, maybe it's what we called them, is a total gift, and it's about trusting oneself, and that actually is where you kind of start to face true north and find alignment really well in your life, when you really trust, really trust in yourself and what you know and what you believe to be the truth. Then you're good to go.
Oh, I love that. I love that. One of the things I hear a lot of people say very often is, trust your gut instinct. And
Mm,
I absolutely that. But then I also go to, because I know so many people have, and this sounds, you might laugh at this, but a lot of people have gut issues. And
yes.
actually, a lot of that then can be misaligned because
Yeah.
people actually don't have their health balanced. And there's a lot more fear and worry than is actually necessary. So I'm
And it's
always
it's your
conscious of
gut kind of
saying,
going, hello, hello. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I won't lie to you. I went out on Saturday night with my girlfriends and I drank rosé thingy and I broke up out in spots all over my thing. So my gut health right now is not good, and I
Mm,
got to go back and give that a little bit of love because I was kind of mean
mm,
to it. And I had a great
mm.
time and I really loved it at the time. But a couple of days later, I can't trust my gut instinct because I know that it's in
Yeah.
bits right then. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I got to go back and do the repair. So I'm saying that totally honestly and owning my no one is perfect all the time, but going back to the
Yeah.
gut instinct, absolutely do. But make sure that your body is in a good space for you to do that and to feel into it, because if we're out of alignment with what we're putting in there, it's also going to throw off those emotions and the ability to deal with them as well.
Mm.
Um, God, we went very deep for what would you be doing for your childhood dream, didn't we? That took us down a rabbit hole. Okay. You may have answered the next question, which is what advice would you give your younger self?
Oh, oh, you're amazing. Everything's going to be fine. I love
No,
you very much.
I love that. I love.
Yeah. It's not advice because she's so smart. She was so smart. She'll figure it all out herself. And that's about trust again,
Mm,
Just
yeah,
just support. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Who inspires you the most?
Oh. Oh, that's a really good question. Maybe my kids. I think they're amazing. I really do. I think they're
Oh,
yeah, probably my kids.
I love that. I love
Mm.
that. The young and free spirit is just so beautiful to watch, isn't
Oh,
it?
they're just brilliant. They're just brilliant. Like, I'm not saying my kids are like more special than anybody else's. But they're
Very
just
advanced, Hilary, very advanced.
they're just brilliant. Yeah, they just bring me so much joy, and I love the things they do. I love the people who they are. They're just brilliant.
Oh,
Mm.
I love that. A beautiful answer. Um, was there a particularly dark day that turned into a positive, and what was the lesson?
Mm. I suppose a very dark day was in the depths of grief. And because I had really been on my spiritual path in earnest, it gave me comfort. I knew that I would find a nugget of gold in there, in the darkness, in the grief, you
Mm.
know? Um, and I remember saying, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for this experience, as painful as it is. I'm so grateful for this. Thank you so much. And I just kept saying it. And even another part of me was going, you're grateful for this? You're in agony here, But I knew that there would be a nugget of gold in there. And yeah, it was finding myself again, actually, in there. So yeah, it was a big, dark, deep, hard one. Very hard. I always think of the story of the Sumerian goddess Inanna. And the story of Inanna is that she is this goddess. She's the queen of heaven and earth, right? And she has a twin sister, and the twin sister is banished into hell. And she loves her and wants to save her and reconnect with her. And she has to walk through 7 gates of hell, 7 chakras, um, into her interior, into the depths of hell. And as she walks through a gate, she has to shed an item of clothing each time. And each time she walks through the gate, she sheds the item, and she gets in past the 7 gate, and she is completely naked and vulnerable, but absolutely standing in her power because she has found her twin sister. She has found herself, and the two of them walk out of there hand in hand, and that's it. And that, when I was in those moments, somehow, I don't have a book on Sumerian mythology, but somehow that information came to me in whatever I was looking at, or little snippets that I curiously followed down and read that story, and I went, this feels like what I'm going through is just finding myself again, very, very, very deeply.
That is beautiful. It's very comforting to hear, isn't it? I think, when you're in the depths, like you said, when you can not push it away and embrace it,
Mm,
it saves so much energy when you're not resisting. You're
yeah,
not
and it's
actually
hard.
resisting where you are. Yeah.
It's so painful. You're lying there going, it's so painful. I think I could almost die in this moment. That's how much the pain is in the body. But it just to let it be and know that it is not forever, you know.
Yeah. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that with us.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm sure that gives a lot of comfort and hope to people because we all experience it at some point, whether it's
Yes,
loved ones or whether
correct.
it's health or
Yeah.
whether it's whatever. But I
Mhm.
think that is a real secret to self mastery, though, isn't it? It's like when you're in the midst of whatever it is, to actually be with it.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
scary as
not as it's scary, but it's not as it doesn't prolong the pain when
hell.
you kind of allow it and actually and say to it almost, it's okay that you're here. I understand why I'm feeling this way, and I'm going to let you stay as long as you need to stay there because it burns away everything else.
Mm.
You know,
That
it's
word
like
sovereignty is jumping back in as you say that, isn't it? It's like I'm here and I'm accepting and embracing and
mm,
I'm accountable and responsible for me and I'm giving permission to be
yeah,
that right now. Yeah.
yeah, and knowing that it's not forever, it will end, and you will be so much better coming out the other end of it. It's
Yeah.
the buffalo, like you said, the buffalo running into the storm. Don't run from it. You can't run from it. You can't outrun it.
Mm,
You know, just face it, go through it. You'll be out the other side faster. It
I love
sounds
it.
simple, but you know.
Put that on a t-shirt. I love it. I love it. What does your ideal day consist of?
Oh, waking up early, having a little gratitude practice, uh, kissing my kids, having a really nutritious breakfast, either doing yoga or getting a walk in the sunshine, and maybe starting work. It's really nice. It's really simple.
Oh, nice. Anything in the
Hmm.
evening? Any particular thing you'd like to do in the evening time?
I'm a complete nerd. I get into bed at 9 o'clock. Anyone trying to message me or call me after 8, you'll be lucky if you get a reply. I put the phone away and because my kids are small, right? So, and I get up early. I get up at 6. So no, I barely have time to read a bit of a book. No, once the kids are in bed, I'm in bed. That's it. Lights out, night night. It won't
Heaven.
always be this way. Yeah, it won't always be this way. I know that. But yeah, for now that's how my life is.
It's funny as kids that we all used to resist. Well, I say that I did going to bed early, and now it is my favorite thing to
Oh
do,
my God.
especially
Bed.
reading a book. I'm reading a
Yeah.
book called Four Wings at the moment, and it's like
Ooh.
dragons. It's like fantasy and romance, which I didn't think I'd ever be into. I'm
Is that one of
hooked.
these is that one of these fairy books that everyone's banging on about?
Romantasy is the new phase, and I think I'm really cool knowing that word. I'm hooked. It's like a kind of slightly grown up version of Harry Potter.
Now, as
And
long as there's
I,
no gore and no violence.
there's no, well, there's a little bit of violence, but they don't go into the details of it. It's a bit, um, but no, there's no gore or anything else. But yeah, I'm surprised because I need to read something that isn't health related, isn't business,
Yes.
isn't personal development related, because then your mind, it's a joy. So yeah, going to bed is the new black, is the new cool.
Bed and tea
So
and chocolate.
now before that, oh nice. Now we're going
Yeah.
to talk about dinner. If you had a roast dinner, and say it's a Christmas dinner, right? Do you
Oh,
eat your favorite thing first, your favorite thing last, or a little bit of everything together?
little bit of everything together.
That's the right answer.
Love
Quick.
it. Love
Love it.
it. Little bit
Yeah.
of everything together. And it goes down very fast. I'm a very
Brilliant.
fast eater.
I love it. I love it.
Mm.
Okay, brilliant. If you had to choose 3 people to join you for dinner, either past or with us, who would they be?
God. I mean, I could pick people like Nikolai Tesla. I mean, I'd love to chat to him because I think what he did was unbelievable.
Light years of
So
work.
interested.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, obviously there's family members and stuff. We've touched on that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna say Nikolai Tesla is one of them. Who else? Prince. Oh my God, of course, Prince. I mean, who wouldn't want Prince to come to dinner, right? Nikolai Tesla and Prince. What a conversation. And who else? Um, kind of love Sigourney Weaver. I always come back to. I just don't know why. Just love her.
Okay. But
You
you're
know,
not dissimilar. Like, if you put the two of you in a room, you could be related.
Sigourney, do you know what? What was really interesting when I graduated, I was giving a talk the other day, International Women's Day, and we were talking about the roles that were available 20 years ago. And they were kind of paltry, to be honest. You were always the love interest or whatever, or you were a secondary character, an undeveloped character, and a character that was there to support the male characters, right? That were the heroes. But I always come back to Sigourney Weaver. Like that Alien came out in the 80s. And that was like, I remember seeing that going, a female strong hero character. And there was another a couple of female characters in there as well. And she was the mother as well. So she protected the child away, from the alien. And I just always come back to that. I think it had a really strong imprint on me as a young teen and a young woman wanting to be an actor. I didn't want to be the love interest. I didn't want to be any of those characters. I wanted to be like Sigourney Weaver. I wanted to play that role,
Nice. Oh, that's
So,
very cool.
yeah.
Have you, I feel like I'm sneaking one other question in because just as you said that, it popped into my head. Have you ever met an actor where you have an idea of them in your head and you want them to be, like, say, my thought is, imagine you met Sigourney Weaver and she was a bit of a dick. Or like, wouldn't you be really disappointed? And I suppose you can't really say, but have you ever like had somebody in your mind that you're like, oh my God, amazing, and then they don't turn out to be very nice, or the opposite way, maybe either?
Yeah. Do you know what? Like, most actors, when you get to a certain level, they're really smart people and they're quite conscious. They're quite self-aware because you have to be as an actor to understand how your body works and everything else, and to be playing characters. So there's nothing jumping out where I can turn around and say, oh, that person, not, I wouldn't name anybody, but there's genuinely nothing turning out or jumping out at me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actors can be shy, actually.
Yeah. Okay. I always think of
Self-conscious.
Hugh Grant because I think of like all the roles and the lovely romance things that he plays. And then I remember hearing him being interviewed a couple of times and he sounded like an absolute idiot. Do you know? And then how and maybe I'm pretty sure that he's changed and matured and things like that. But I always think,
Don't know. Never
interesting
met
how he
him.
portrayed like all of these lovely romantic men and then he's a bit of a bleep in real life. But anyway.
Sometimes the bad guys are the nice ones as well.
Like Draco Malfoy, apparently.
Really?
Apparently,
No.
he's the most gorgeous human.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Anyway, sorry for going off piste. I'm going to come back. What is your favorite song?
I'm gonna say Prince Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Just
Nice.
love Prince.
As the box around you lights up in purple.
Yeah.
The book that you gift the most. Maybe it's the Shakespeare one, is it?
I think it's Mastery of Self by Louis. Hang on. I'll get this for you. Mastery of Self. Yeah, The Mastery of Self by Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. It's a Toltec guide to personal freedom.
I have a different book by him somewhere here.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
Books are beautiful. I gift that the most. I think it really had one of the most profound impacts on me.
Nice.
One of the things that it talks about in the book, which really helped me at the time that I was at, was don't take anything personally. Take nothing personally. Someone doesn't call you back, don't take it personally. They could be having a bad day. If someone decides not to engage with you, whatever it is, don't take anything personally. It's got nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with you. Even if somebody rings you up and F's you out of it, it's actually got nothing to do with you. It's got to do with them. You might have done something, but you make amends for that. But yeah, don't take anything personally. That's a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant rule.
That is a great piece of armor to carry around, isn't it? You don't need to get affected with that. I love it. And then the last question, how do you switch off?
The woods. Go into the woods. Yeah, it's my go-to. I just feel really good when I come out of the woods. I feel fresh and light and I'm so thankful, and I'm like a lunatic going, thank you, trees, walking out. Thanks so much, trees. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Love you.
I give mine a hair. If there's a particularly nice tree, I put a hair beside it as a little gift.
Oh, that's so
really,
gorgeous.
Really super weird, I know, but I love doing it.
Oh my God, that's actually gorgeous. Yeah, and I pick up rubbish in the woods if I see it as well. I'm like, no, that should, thank you guys, love you. Yeah, I love the woods.
Lovely. Hilary Rose, it has been so beautiful chatting to you. Like, I've loved our conversation. I could sit here chatting and I've loads of different questions to ask, so maybe you'll come back again. Tell us, where can people find you if they want to find out more?
Can't find me. Don't come looking for me.
In the woods. She's in the woods.
She's in some woods in Ireland, maybe. Yeah, you can find Live Wild podcast is on every platform, and I'd really like you to come and please have a listen. If you like it, maybe subscribe to it, like it, share it, rate it, whatever. It all really, really, really helps to bring the best possible podcasts that I can to people. And I feel like the podcast is in service to people, and that I'm in service to people through the podcast. So yeah, it would be really nice. And it's also got a YouTube channel, Live Wild, as well. So a little like or a subscribe. All the episodes are up there. If you want to watch them rather than listen to them, they're all up there as well. So that would be much appreciated. Thank you so much, Karen.
Oh, listen, it's been a joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very best of luck with everything beyond. And I will see you soon.
Thank you, my love. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you to our sponsors of this episode. You can visit getcleanboss.com/Karen. And also a thank you to our video and podcast producer and editor, Aoife McNamara at Imagine Media. Thank you.